Hi everyone, it's Lesley from Hungry Heffy Crafts, and today I have a card to share with you. And I've been experimenting with using watercolors a bit more in my card making, and this was a really cute colourful card that I made using some pearlescent watercolors. I'm starting off with some watercolor cardstock, and I'm blending on some weathered wood distress ink. I wanted a very light coating, so I'm actually tapping most of the ink off onto a notepad to the side there, and you can hardly see it in the video, but it is there in real life. I'm going to be using the Lawn Fawn You Color My World stamp set, but because it is the word color is spelt the American way, I'm going to use some of these alphabet stamps to create the British spelling of color. These stamps are from Paperchase. They're called Stamp Letters Aviano, and I'm using some Simon Says stamp inks with these to create a rainbow in the word color. Next, I'm going to cut out the panel using the largest stitch rectangle in the small stitch rectangle set from Lawn Fawn. And my little cloud is going to go just underneath the word color. I'm holding it in place with some washi tape, and I'm going to run it through my Cuttlebug with the embossing mat and 2 B plates. So what that does is it doesn't cut the whole way through. You can see here it almost gives a letterpress look. It looks really cool. I like it. You could use it just like that, but I'm using it as a placeholder at the moment because I'm going to be adding my watercolor. This is a set of watercolor or pearlescent watercolor paints from Artquest. They're called Artquest Stargazers, and I bought them many moons ago at a craft fair, so I'm sure you can still get them online. They work amazingly on dark colored cardstock, but you can see the shimmer on light colored cardstock too. So what I'm doing is just underneath the cloud, I'm gathering up some of the paint onto a wet paintbrush and creating a little puddle at the bottom of my cloud, and then dipping my paintbrush in water and adding some water to it and adding some more water and more water until the little droplet of paint is heavy enough to trickle down the card. And I'm holding the card at about a 45-degree angle, and I'm tipping it and tilting it to encourage it to move along. I'm skipping out a colour, so I started with red, then went on to the yellow, and now I'm going to do the blue, and I'll go back and do the orange and green when I'm sure that the colours have dried. I don't want them to go all muddy, so I just want to give it a chance to dry first of all. I am drying it with a heat tool just because, well, I'm impatient. It did warp the card a little bit, but I ran it through my Cuttlebug to smoosh it down, and that flattened it quite a bit. And that helps whenever you're sticking the panel to the front of the card. Now, I added some purple, but I didn't have another colour, so I just mixed in the middle some purple with some red and a little bit of white, the pearlescent white, to create the last colour of my rainbow. When I was doing the purple droplet, I thought that I needed a little bit of extra texture to the bottom, so I held my paintbrush horizontal and give it some light taps, and this left some little purple splatters underneath the cloud. After I added the purple splatters, I decided I wanted a few more colours, so I went back in again with a little bit of the yellow and also some green and the pink as well. I didn't do every colour. I wish you could see how sparkly these were in real life. The video really doesn't do it justice. It's so pretty. So I've cut out another couple of clouds using the same watercolored cardstock, and I'm going to stack them up on top of each other to raise it up. But I thought this cloud needed a little bit of whimsy, so I'm adding the little face that comes in the Color My World stamp set. It goes on the crayon in the stamp set, but it looks so cute on my cloud. And I used some smoke ink from Simon Says Stamp for that. But to emboss the word you and my world, I wanted to use some clear embossing powder on top of some grey ink. So I used the Hickory Smoke Distress ink just that I could make sure it was wet long enough to put the embossing powder on top. The embossing powder I'm using today is a new tub that I picked up. It's the Wow embossing powder in the ultra fine detail in clear, and I'm really happy with it. I'm just experimenting with this one, but so far I'm really happy. So this is the point where I ran the project through my Cuttlebug just to try and flatten it down a little bit before I stuck my clouds on top. I have 4 clouds and I'm stacking them all up on top, and then the little face one goes right on the top here. I'll put something heavy on it to make sure that it sticks down. To add some blush to the cloud, I grabbed my watercolour paint palette and a small paintbrush and picked up some light pink watercolour paint just to add some rosy cheeks to my little cloud. So now I'm going to stick this onto a standard note card, which is 5.5 by 4.25. But to really make it pop and to bring in some of that grey colours, I've picked up a piece of smoke grey cardstock, covered my card blank with it, and then I will stick this on top. And I'm using some foam squares or foam rectangles for this, and I am not skimping on them. I promised myself I'm going to buy the 3M mounting tape, but I have to use up everything else in my stash first, so that's why I was not being very frugal with them. To finish off this little guy, I thought he needed a little love heart, and this is one of the wood veneers from Studio Calico, I believe, and I'll stick that onto this little guy using some Ranger Multi Matte Medium. Just pop it right here. So that's the card finished. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you can see in the pictures here really how sparkly and beautiful that paint is. That's the Artquest Stargazers paint palette. Thanks again, have a great day, and hop on over to Hungry Heffy Crafts for more of my crafty goodness. Bye!